The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat post-game show.
The Strus is loose! The Strus is loose! The most exciting summer league game I have ever seen in my life. They need to institute this rule in the regular NBA regular season. Don't do that in the playoffs. Like, that's fucking terrible. But, like, that was the coolest fucking ending to a game I've ever seen. Max Strus has balls the size of fucking Montana. Like, that motherfucker just stepped into a three. No fucking conscious. Like, honestly, that dude thinks he's the best player in the NBA. Irrational confidence, dude. I love him. He's the new Mario Chalmers. Start him over Duncan Robinson. Okay, wait. I'm going too far. All right. Summer League overreactions incoming. But that's what we're here to do. Hangover Time is back, guys. We've been gone for a minute. We missed you. Some of you might have missed us. People on Reddit obviously didn't because they fucking hate us, apparently. They really hate Moose. And Moose is here, so bring me out, Brass.
Yes, sir. You already know what time it is, Reddit. I gotta hit him one time with a drip drop.
The Moose is loose.
Woo!
I am drinking heavily at 7 o'clock on a fucking Wednesday, watching a summer league game. The Heat are back.
This was fun.
God damn it! Listen, guys. Before we even go into what are you drinking, I just want, first of all, your takes. I start with Jack because Moose already went. Jack, your take on summer league double overtime, sudden death.
I just made so much money. I put everything I had on the Heat winning this game. I was ripping my hair out throughout. So good for them and good for me.
Brass, double OT summer league. Like, we were all watching, like, because we jumped on because it's like, okay, the game's almost over. Let's jump on. So we all watched this shit together. We're all on different delays. We were getting super fucking pumped for a summer league game. Like, what do you think of this double OT sudden death shit?
Well, I mean, the double OT shit was amazing, but like the game was not that great. It was like fuck. I'm like, of course the Heat are garbage on the summer league game that like we cover, but like, hey man, that was the coolest ending. That was I'm just gonna say it. That was the greatest summer league game of all time.
All time, the greatest summer league shot of all time. Move
easily.
Is there a better summer league ending than this one? It's a dumb question, but it's
not.
Awesome
it's not even possible. So, like, just to kind of peel back the curtains for everyone, we were watching this all together, waiting for the game to end, and none of us wanted overtime. we were like, we don't. This is fucking summer league. We don't want this shit. But then overtime started, and we knew about the possibility of this sudden death thing, which sounded amazing and totally lived up to the hype. I want it for the NBA regular season. I want it every single night. Institute it right now, Adam Silver. I don't know who came up with this, but it was fucking amazing. Like, if every summer league game has that shit, I'm watching all of them.
If Adam Silver came up with that, I might be willing to forgive him for last season. Like, I mean, that was that cool. No, I wouldn't. Fuck him for that.
Honestly, the fucking tampering investigation, which maybe we'll get into. Who knows? I've had like 15 extra minutes of drinking, so who knows where the show's going to go. It's already gone fucking off the rails. Sudden death overtime is here to stay. It's the greatest fucking thing ever that's been invented in basketball. But let's find out what everybody's drinking. Okay, you fucking degenerates. What are you drinking? Hangover Time is back after a hiatus. Moose, what are you drinking? I think I already saw it. Got that monkey booty.
Oh, actually, no monkey booty today because it's summer league. It's summer league, so I wasn't really prepared for today.
Light. Oh, you want something light for the summer.
I also had no idea that the game started that early, but I still had some hairy blues here. And so don't judge me, but I'm actually trying it out with a little bit of Coca-Cola because that's really all I had in the fridge.
Gin and Coke?
So gin and Coke is what
I'm judging you. That's gross.
All right. Well, it's something.
All right. Brass, what do you got?
Well, Summer League, I'm back. I went on vacation. So I did a good amount of drinking when I was on vacation, and so I got here. I got a White Claw black cherry. Just fucking kidding. I don't drink that shit. I made a fucking Mai Tai, motherfuckers. Let's go.
I was about to say, bro, you are off brand.
I was so gonna get ready to trash you and be like, "Yo, what I'm drinking is fine."
I was about to say, all-season Brass is the worst Brass. Holy shit.
Man. No, I like it.
All right, good. Woo, you redeemed yourself. Love it. Jack, what are you drinking? Are you drinking?
I got a water.
Oh, God.
I mean,
I'll crack a beer at some point in this.
Isn't it like regular time?
So
like 5 o'clock?
It's 5 o'clock here. I'm in Denver.
Oh, well, there you go. It's perfect.
And it's 2 hours earlier. So
Dude, you have a window unit? Oh, this is why everyone's telling me I need a guitar on my wall. Like, is this a white thing? Like, what?
I didn't even.
Oh my God! You got the trifecta.
This is the whitest.
Was that a comment? I didn't see that.
I went out and bought one because Moose had one.
It's the whitest thing that's ever happened on Hangover Time, where there's 3 guitars hanging on the wall.
Yeah, we're all gonna do a song at the end.
And play hacky sack on a grassy hill. Oh,
let's do it. Play a little Dave Matthews Band. Let's do it.
With a girl named Allie. Only Jack gets that joke. I'm over here drinking vodka and Celsius energy drink because, like, I was like falling asleep during this game and I needed something to get me going. But anyway, so what we want to do? Okay, the game was fucking fun. That overtime was the shit. Max Strus got swag for days. Duncan Robinson could never. Like, I love Duncan. Duncan ain't doing that shit.
Not the same swag. Not the same swag.
Like, I want to get into a little bit of the Strus Duncan comparisons, which I'm like, what are y'all fucking talking about? They play 2 completely different games. Like, Strus is about putting pressure on the rim, not just shooting. He likes to get in the paint and score.
Yes, this is true, but they both definitely have guitars on their walls.
Yeah, that's cool.
True. Undeniable.
Yeah, no question.
So what I really wanted to do, because we've had fun for the first 10 minutes with the outcome of the game. Really, all we care about is like 5 guys on this roster and how they look. So I kind of wanted to just go step by step through each guy and kind of get everyone's takes on their performances tonight. And I was going to start with Omer Yurtseven, who did have a really good game after a shitty quarter and a half. Like, through the first quarter and the second quarter, like, I hadn't seen a lot of this guy. I've watched some summer league. I haven't watched whole games. I was like, this guy is kind of trash. Not trash, but I was like, he's not living up to the hype. After that, I mean, the blocks, the rebounds, the scoring, he did a little bit of everything. Some of the stuff that he's doing in summer league is not going to translate into the regular NBA. Mm-hmm. Like, he ain't posting up nobody. You know what I mean? The league, like, he has a little bit of footwork, but what I want to actually start with Strus, because there's one guy out there who looked like an NBA player from start to finish. Like, my man does it. When I watch summer league, Moose, I always want to find the guy who doesn't look like they should be playing summer league, right? Like, what is this? What is this dude doing out here? Last year, you saw Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson were the 2 best looking Heat players. Not last year, the year before.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
you know
and
what I'm talking
about.
about.
Tyler Hero as well, by the way.
And Tyler Hero looked like a rookie, but he looked like he had promise. But you were watching Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson. You said these guys don't belong in summer league. These guys are NBA talents. Strus is
your guy too. Like, you want to see someone that is going to dominate his minutes and look like they don't belong there. Because if you don't belong there, that means that you're going to have a chance in the actually, cracking the rotation. And we know that when he's making his shots, he's going to be a player for us. And to kind of back it up just a little bit in the difference between him and Duncan, yes, he is way more aggressive, both offensively and defensively, which is what you want to see. Now, it will get him in trouble in terms of like fouls and stuff, but that swag at the end for that shot, I mean, that's all I'm going to be thinking about. I just think that he is playing at a different level this season, at least in summer league, and that's exactly what we need if he's going to be on this roster.
Apparently, people are saying the stream is bugging the fuck out. People in the chat are just telling you to refresh, and you'll get the stream back because we dropped down. Yeah, everybody just refresh the stream, and you'll be back. All right. So, but a lot of people saying we back. Oh, so we'll move forward. But yeah, I agree with you. The difference between those 2 players is they're not the same guy. It's just like it's a white guy thing. That's what people are doing. Jack, your thoughts on Strus tonight?
I mean, he was incredible. I think he's definitely one of the. I'd put Yurtseven in the category of players for the Heat that don't look like they belong in Summer League, but Strus definitely showed like a next level dominance. Like there was no concern about him holding his own, and Summer League really doesn't matter in any way. But the only places it does matter is kind of if you're exceptionally bad or exceptionally good, like. You have to look like you don't belong. Like if you look like you don't belong and you're like so bad that you look like you can't hold your own in a summer league game, then it doesn't bode well for you in the future. If you're so good, that means you have a shot at the NBA. Anything in between doesn't really mean anything. Like anything more micro than that. But Strus has looked like he's better than everybody else on the floor. So I don't know. It bodes well.
It really does. And for Yurtseven, whatever. I will get to Yurt in a little bit, but Brass, I mean, you got anything on Strus?
I mean, we know that he can do it in big moments. You know, I mean, he's played actual NBA minutes. So, and if you recall, was it the preseason last year? The first game we were ragging on him, and he came out. But now, in our defense, we did pronounce his name.
We did the same.
We said Strus.
Yes.
Right. And as soon as we called him by the right name, Strus, then he was balling out. I mean, he's a solid player. He's going to be a big money guy. I have no doubts coming up. He's got a big future in the NBA. So we're going to hold on to him for a while, I think.
And then you shot creation
until he gets a max in Boston. Yeah, he's going to
exactly.
go.
Well, no, yeah, well, until his value drops, and then we'll get rid of him. I'm sorry, that was a hot take Harry impression right there.
Can I push back on something really quick though, just on what Jack said? I do disagree though, in the sense that Summer League is important. I do think that all of these rookies need these reps.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean, in terms of judging play, the only thing that, like, in terms of future projections, the only thing that's worth projecting is whether somebody looks so bad that they can't hold their own, or like so good that they
100%,
don't need to be on the floor.
100%.
The reps are sooner important for experience and like getting that coaching experience, especially for guys on the margins like Garrett, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Garrett, and I was going to say, I think it's hampered KZ's development.
Well,
this is the first time.
Real quick, I wanted Alonzo informs a friend of the show, good dude, says the biggest question with Strus is consistency, but if you can do it once in a while, ... And I kind of agree. The thing with Strus is he's that like he could be the Heat's microwave guy off the bench. Where I don't know if you guys remember Keon Dooling a few years back.
One of my all-time favorite bench players.
He used to come in and he'll give you 15 points in about 12 minutes. And then the defense catches up with them, and you got to bench him. But you're down 6 or you're down 7, and the bench guys come in and bring you back within 1. You know, something like he's just that guy who can go out there, boom, 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 score for you. And honestly, Strus is a better defender than Keon was.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, I don't think Strus is a great defender, but he's wide-bodied. He gets in front of people. He stays in front of people. He fights through screens. I'm not going to I'm not overdoing it with Strus. I think I really think he is what he is, but the Heat need a guy like that can come in and get hot and just give you like 8 quick points, right? Mm-hmm. And then now you can bring back in your guys. So Brass mentioned the fact that we expect it from Strus because he's played NBA minutes. Okay, there's another guy, and we're going from high to low right now. There's another guy who's gotten a bunch of NBA minutes. And he looks like the worst player. I mean, the worst rotation player on a summer league team, which is hard to do. KZ OKpala.
I'll say it. Yeah, worst player.
KZ looks, and defensively, he looks okay. He gets lost a lot, but offensively, it is a shit show. And I'm not trying to bag on a young dude. I said this on the green room earlier. A lot of the expectations when it comes to KZ, I put a lot of that on the Heat's fault, on the Heat's lap, right? You know, calling him, leaking that he was being Giannis in practice. In what's her Daisy, whatever your dog's name is,
Melody. She agrees though. She agrees.
Yeah, but the Heat have done. The Heat traded 3 draft picks, second round picks for KZ. The Heat are the ones who told you that he was on their first round draft board. So a lot of those expectations that KZ comes from the Miami Heat themselves. So I don't want to go crazy on a young guy, but Moose, he does not look like an NBA player in going into his third season. That's a bad sign.
So you just said the exact point I wanted to make. And I may be wrong here, so chat, call me out, but is this the only third-year NBA player in the summer league? Because he looks like he doesn't belong there. And
I think Michael Beasley's in the summer
Michael
league.
Beasley.
Michael Beasley, Kenneth Faried are
okay, but those are. But my point being,
that tells you something.
My point being, and Jack said it earlier. You look for the people that look like they don't belong in a positive way and negative way. KZ's been trending down for a while now, and I do agree with you, Alf, that I put some of it on the Heat, especially, like with the inconsistency in early minutes and roles and all that. But at the same time, dude, this is what we need you out there to do is just play ball, give us energy, do the little things, and it's just his head is not grasping the fundamentals.
Yeah, KZ is disappointing for sure, but I think he's extra disappointing for people that are in the Heat Twitter bubble. Because we were all about the free KZ. They're all talking about he's like, Giannis Jr. And I mean the shit that was being thrown, and a lot of it was joking.
Some of it was joking, and some people were serious, and that's the fans' fault for not being discerning enough. Like my whole take on him, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back because I'm wrong on a lot of things. Was like his cap was like a decent replacement for Derrick Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. He is not even anywhere close to that shit.
Absolutely.
Nowhere near it.
Correct. You could put DJJ on the other team's best point guard as a small forward, and he would shut down a guy like Trae Young. And he could give you a three every once in a while, and he could finish a fast break. Like KZ literally had a spin move, got into the lane, and had no fucking idea where he was.
Yeah, I mean, with KZ... you said it where he hasn't really done much over the past 3 years. Like, it's his third year, and he's still not an NBA player. But more than that, it's going to be his third year, and I don't think he's shown almost any, real flashes that he can be one. Like, he has the obvious physical tools, which will make him look incredible on defense at times. But it's purely on ball, and sometimes maybe he kind of wanders into a passing lane. But he has no idea where he is. I don't want to bag on him because it's fine. He's a second-round pick. He seems like a good guy. There's no reason to be mad at him. He's not a bust. You shouldn't have had high expectations for him to begin with. It's just kind of one of those things. But, yeah, I don't think he's really flashed much. He's shown, I think, very little to zero growth. The shooting's not really there on offense, and that's really where he'd provide his value. It seems like he may have been able to do that. At Stanford, he definitely flashed that. And then he has the very enticing physical gifts. But I think back to James Ennis, when we got James Ennis.
Yep.
And I was excited about James Ennis. I was very excited about James Ennis.
Until he dribbled.
But he gave you good reason to be excited. And he's a good role player now. Like, James Ennis is a good NBA player. Mm-hmm. But then people started watching his workouts, on YouTube. You could see him just shooting in an empty gym, and they were like, oh, he kind of looks like KD. And it was the most insane shit ever. And it was like, yeah, you can hop on the train to an extent, but when you start comparing KZ, who's shown very little in the NBA, to guys like Giannis, I don't know what to say. It's like when people call Precious Mini Bam, and it's like, I like Precious. I think he can be a good player. I hope he has a good season for the Raptors, but you just got to understand that just because people, and it's the Strus Duncan thing too. It's like, just because they have one quality in common doesn't mean they're the same player, especially if one of them knows how to play basketball and the other doesn't seem to know what the sport is.
I think the funny thing is when you go back and you look at KZ's highlight reels from Stanford, a lot of times what he was doing, he was pump faking at the 3-point line and taking somebody off the dribble and getting in the paint and scoring. Nobody's respecting the pump fake in the NBA. They're too fucking smart. Nobody's worried about KZ shooting a three, and he cannot get separation. People talk about Tyler can't beat anybody off the dribble. KZ can. And when he does beat somebody off the dribble, he has no fucking idea where he's at a lot of the times. Like he gets open, and like I used to coach kids, and they would do all this shit, and they would do all these fucking moves, and they get the shoulder past the defender, and then they pull it back, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. You're trying to complete a move. You're not trying to score. And I feel like KZ has some of that shit where he has a little bit of footwork, gets to a scoring position, dunker spot, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but he has no idea where he's at that point. So I think Jack, you're right. There is some James Ennis there, and I think over time he can develop into a good NBA player. But the Heat right now are sitting on a bunch of dead roster spots.
Yeah, one
of their own choosing, two of their own choosing. Oladipo, and now KZ. That's 4 spots, right? So now there's the next 3 guys we're going to talk about can take up some of those roles. Right?
Well, one more thing on KZ. Another thing that I don't think is really talked about enough is how much of a drag it was for as shitty as the last season was in all regards. But it's missing, not for the Heat not participating, the Skyforce not participating in the G League last year is a real shame for a guy like KZ.
Yes.
Because that the Skyforce
and Precious
does
last year.
And Precious big time because they would. I mean, they needed bodies last year.
Yeah. Well, they need.
So I'm not really. It would have been a little dicey, but in terms of developing players, the Skyforce does a remarkable job of developing people in this system, and it's a real shame that KZ didn't have that opportunity.
They didn't get those reps. Reps. And the thing is, you could say they practice against the main squad all the time. It's not the same as gameplay. Like we've seen so many guys go to Skyforce or just ball out in the G League and transfer some of that. Like Nunn came out of college, played in the G League a little bit, and he developed his game. It's a different game. But yeah, I think you're right. The Skyforce not playing last season really hurt him. But this season, like what I was talking about, they don't have the roster spots to wait on a guy. But I don't know if they have any choice at this point. So let's go to some guys that can help them with some of these the end of the roster stuff. Let's go to Yurtseven. Like I said, for the first quarter and a half, I mean,
it looks like Enrique Iglesias.
Yeah, I mean, a very good-looking dude. I mean, the hair is
incredible.
The hair is in place, and he's been playing an NBA game at this point.
That's after 48 minutes.
Yeah, I mean
he's even got that like a little Superman, like the little kind of like
that guy is gonna destroy in Miami. If it's the perfect location for him.
I mean,
the 77. That's like his body count after a weekend. Like Miami.
Catching COVID is the least of his worries. But Yurtseven tonight, 23 points. He didn't do anything for the first quarter and a half. So that's like literally second half and going forward. And the defense concerns me a little bit. Sometimes he seems flat-footed and slow. I don't know if he's going to be able to do these things in the paint moves that he's doing against these guys in G League. But at the end of the day, he's doing it. You got Tillman on the other side who's been in the league for 13 years, and he's bodying up Tillman. Tillman was pushing him off the spot at first. He adjusted. Miami's finna slobber over this man. Yeah.
I mean, it's true, though.
But Tillman was pushing him off the spot a lot at first. He adjusted. The blocks were very encouraging to me, like a rim protection. He's not just out there to score and look pretty. Like he's doing, he's doing some of the dirty work. What did you think of Omer's performance tonight and so far?
Yeah, well, first of all, he's been dominating Summer League, and it's been a recurring theme throughout the night. Guys that look like they don't belong there. This is one of the positives. Omer looks like he doesn't belong in Summer League. He's playing above that level. There was a sequence that he had tonight that I thought was amazing, where he had Herb 7 by Fez Butter. I might steal that. That's hilarious. There was a sequence where he had a block, and then he ran down in transition and hit a 3. That right there, if he can give us a couple minutes like that off the bench throughout the entire season, that's all we need. Do I think he's going to have the same post game in the regular season? No, he's still a work in progress. And what he's showing us right now before the season even starts is very, very promising. I'm really excited to see what we have in this kid.
Jack, even if he can't get to the post game, because very few very few guys can get to the post game in the NBA now. Like it's like Embiid and Jokic and nobody else, right? Because of the way the game is played. But he does. There's other things he does. Like Jack, I'm not Jack. Sorry, Brass. Do you have his clutch shot at the end of the first overtime?
Absolutely. So 88 to 86.
So turnover from Desmond Bane. Look, I mean, the fact that he can run the floor at his size, get to the other end, catch an alley-oop. Like, listen, there's a lot of fives in this league who just can't even do that, right? And he also had that clutch shot at the end of the first overtime. That little jumper in the lane that he can just hit with his
little
eyes
15-footer.
closed. The little hooks, the little floaters. There's a lot of things that he does in his game that can translate to the league. I mean, do you see that happening, Jack, or do you kind of see a flame out from an unsigned guy, a drafted guy?
Definitely not a flame out. I mean, I think he's definitely shown the skills to produce in the NBA to some degree. I think on Locker Room today, or Green Room or whatever it's called, we were talking about his potential in the NBA. I kind of compared him to Justin Hamilton, but I do think he does a lot of things way better than Justin Hamilton ever did. Jorts? No. Is that Jorts?
I think so. There are a lot of
Jorts.
There's a lot of thick white guys, like just tall.
Yeah, Jorts. But I think he's a better shooter. I think he has just a better he's just a better role man in general. Like you said, he has some touch around the basket. I don't know how much of it carries over to the NBA, but if he's hitting shots, that's all you need. Like, I think you just need shot makers, like, to the end of the bench, because as we've kind of alluded to, they have kind of a short rotation right now. They have like 3 players that are just kind of unplayable. And, if you have, can he be like Myers Leonard? I'm curious if y'all think he can be Myers Leonard. Like maybe not Myers Leonard at his peak, but like give you some of what he provides without the racial slurs.
Yeah, I'm saying as long as he's not Myers Leonard on Twitch.
I mean, never mind.
What I would say is the thing that Myers did, like, let's go get away from all the shit that Myers did off the court. But Myers on the court was like, he was not always like defensive anchor physically, but just being vocal but now Bam has taken on that role. Yeah. So like that was one of the things I used to love about Myers. Like, he would literally hold guys. He was a coach on the court as far as defense, and he would literally he would move guys into the right place. Like, he would snatch none and move him. I don't know if you guys remember.
I mean,
like, at the beginning
why he was starting. Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of the final season, he was moving guys into place all the time and telling guys where to go. But Bam is that guy now. So a guy like Yurtseven can give you – he is a way more willing shooter on offense than Myers was. And honestly, he's a better rebounder than Myers is. And he's a better rim protector than Myers. I don't know, just, defensively, defensive IQ, is he that guy? Well, but we'll see. But like I said, Bam does so much of that for them now. I don't think you need that. Brass, before we get to okay, no, you want to okay, let's finish.
Whatever you want, I don't care.
Because we're at the 30-minute mark. I think people need to see the most important play of the game. So let's go to that one. Jack, where were you going?
My camera fell down. I was like trying to fix it in time.
I feel like Jack was going. I feel like Jack was like trying to leave, and we caught him.
I thought this was my chance if I got out before the queue ended.
Like he was going to join Locked On Heat, and we caught him leaving. All right, so I think everyone knows what the gaga of the game is. So this is sudden death overtime, the greatest thing that ever happened to basketball.
I want this NFT. Give me this moment.
The balls on this dude. Look. Oh, you gonna play off, bitch?
Damn, that's awesome, man.
Do it again.
That's
like, look at him.
Incredible.
Like, I mean, walked into that motherfucker. Like, just.
He didn't even think about doing anything else.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't even looking at the other guys.
No. There was no play call. There was nothing. First of all, if I was Memphis, I would have triple teamed him as soon as he got the ball.
Right? That's
if you
true,
watch
yeah.
the game, there's nobody else that was going to shoot that shot. One more
Step
time,
up.
Brass. Look at this shit. What? I got you. I mean,
Oh, good.
He didn't need a fucking 3, man.
no.
No, literally,
Some
it's
ballsy
anything.
shit. I love that.
I mean, the balls on this motherfucker, man.
Fucking love that, man. That's a heat lifer right there, man.
My dog is over. Go back on the couch.
Oh, what's your dog's name?
Nyla.
Oh, Nyla and Melody.
Get back on. She likes the guy.
Pups of Hangover Time.
Get a calendar.
God, that was such a fucking awesome. I can't believe this shit. So a lot of people are asking us about Deke. I didn't even know what Jerome's first name was, Deke. I can't believe I had. I feel like I should have jokes for that. So one of the things that frustrated me watching this game is that they could not defend transition, and they couldn't score in transition. Right, and Jack made fun of me for tweeting that out. Basically, he was accusing me of having money on the game. But it was frustrating to watch. Like, you're supposed to have these super defensive-minded guards that they brought in. They signed all these guards that are supposed to be defensive-minded first. And the fact that they can't get back in transition, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But when you talk about the fact that they have dead roster spots, and we don't know who the backup point guard is going to be, because you're talking about Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero. The guard rotation like we used to have a bunch of guards and no bigs. Mm-hmm. Now we have Dedmon, Yurtseven, Markieff Morris, PJ Tucker, and of course Bam. And then now we have at the guard position we have Kyle Lowry and a lot of guys that probably shouldn't be handling the ball that much. So the first guy we're going to talk about is Deke Jerome. I think that's his first name, Deke Jerome. When I was watching him, what I liked about him is that he gets to the rim and he can finish around the rim, which, I mean, a lot of our guards have not been able to do that. And he's long. He's a good defender. He's not a great defender because Bane and a couple other guys, Zaire Williams, were killing him. But he wasn't. I didn't like the fact that he couldn't get the ball to Yurtseven a lot of times. When Yurtseven had a small on him and he's begging for the ball in the post, he couldn't do a simple entry pass. So there were some things I didn't like about him, but the fact that he's kind of fearless, when he was around the rim, he did not miss. There were some things I liked from Jerome offensively. I wasn't super impressed defensively. Moose, what was your take? I'm sorry. OTSMS in the chat says Deke in the pick and roll is money. Him and Yurt in that high pick and roll were fucking phenomenal, man. Like that was like, okay, so he does have some on-ball skills offensively, but there were a lot of times entry passes, simple things I was not very happy with.
Before we talk about Deke, before Alex talks about Deke, I do have to read off some breaking news from one of our members of Hangover Time. So here's the message. So wait, I'm at dinner, but I see Illinois' finest had a game winner. And I'm drunk. Carry the fuck on. Tiff.
Very important.
Our own Tiffany Makes reporting live from somewhere.
From dinner.
There you go. I like that. Make sure you get that Tiff merch, by the way. Fuck them numbers.
Fuck them numbers.
What were we talking about again? Oh, okay, yeah, he's a nice player. Look, he's cool. The only thing I really like about him is that I can go freaky deaky anytime like he hits the rim and shit.
Oh, great! You have another catchfully? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, another one. I gotta get ready for. I gotta get ready for the season. But with that being said, like, I truthfully, I'm just more of a Garrett guy. So like, I'm not really even.
We'll get. I'm not really even.
Yeah, well,
I kind of saved him for last because I was.
Yeah, I'll just wait for that. Like he's a nice player, but like I'm not really expecting to see him after summer league. No shots at him though.
Maybe gets a Sioux Falls spot though. Like not necessarily a two-way contract, but I don't see another team picking him up. He doesn't seem ready for an NBA roster, and he might just be a nice guy to have. You never know.
Yeah, I hope that he doesn't play that great the rest of summer league, so we can kind of hold him on in the G League for a while.
Like I said, there was a lot of things I did like about him, but he's a project. It's gonna be a while before he's not the kind of guy that he's not even as far as Gabe Vincent, in my opinion. His shot is bad, like really bad. Like, I mean, every 3-pointer he shot today hit the front of the rim. But I do think there's some promise there. I think, like I said, he's going to get one of the two-way contracts, in my opinion. Like because especially with the guard rotation the way it is, I think he's going to get that. Now, one of my favorite guys to watch today, because Bane was going up against Jerome and getting what he wanted, but when Bane went up against Garrett, shit wasn't so sweet. And Garrett is another guy. I mean, defensively, we've all been impressed by Garrett all summer league. I like the fact that like just like Jerome around the rim, these guys don't miss. They use their length, and they rebound. They attack the offensive rebound. They attack the boards on offense, and they get it back up, and they score around the rim. Where, like I said, we've been missing that from our guards for a long time. Moose, you wanted to talk about Garrett when we were talking about Jerome, so go ahead. What do you think about Garrett?
I love this guy. I think this is our Patrick Beverley do-over. We're getting a mulligan on this one. I'm telling you, he's a defensive pest. Now, is he gonna amount to the same stuff that Patrick Beverley is? I don't know about that.
He's not a scumbag criminal like Patrick Beverley.
Right. But what I'm getting at is that this guy is gonna earn his minutes on the defensive end, and I do think there's enough there offensively to keep him on the floor, and he's only gonna get better. His shot needs a little bit of work from 3 and all that, but as long as he's giving us what he's giving us on the defensive end, I want him out there.
Jack, do you see a place for Garrett in the regular season rotation?
Oof, probably not this year. But I want him to get a 2-way contract. You never know. Their guard rotation's pretty shallow. I do think. I think he'll just kind of bounce between Sioux Falls and the roster just throughout the year, and I think that's the best thing for him. I hope he can become kind of like a Briante Weber. I think his defense is better than Briante's was, or looks better than Briante's was, and is not quite as good as Briante was on offense from this point. So, if he can start hitting shots, then he has a future in this league, and probably a long future in this league. Because the defense, I think, is undeniable. That's going to translate. He's a hound. Like, he gets after it, and he's been that way since college. The guy's insane. Like, is he the guy who bit the leg, or is that Jerome?
I think that was Jerome, but Garrett was Defensive Player of the Year.
He didn't even need to bite legs.
I mean, but Garrett's the guy who didn't he have the strip first play of the game?
Yeah.
The last game. I mean, I like
Heat culture.
Heat culture, like he is a fit. Like he is such a culture fit. Moose loves saying that. You're doing the Ryan Cortez thing.
I'm all about the culture. I'm all about the culture.
But he is a fit with what they like to do offensively. Like one thing I'm tired of is players that are one-dimensional, whether it be great defenders can't shoot. Great offensive players can't defend worth a damn, can't get through a screen. But the Heat are going to need some specialists to just fill in the blanks this season until somebody like Victor Oladipo, and hopefully Victor Oladipo comes back strong from this surgery, because if he doesn't, like the guard rotation is in trouble. So we're just talking about, and not to mention, we are in Miami. Don't forget. We are in the fucking COVID hot spot.
I was going to say, we need bodies again.
Yes. Again. And which I guess we'll touch on, before we go, we will touch on the touchy subject of Udonis Haslem.
I care about you. Don't do it.
I'm over here. I'm just I think Moose and Jack probably have the strongest bipartisan opinions on this subject, but Udonis Haslem re-signs for his 19th season with the Heat, a veteran minimum, $2.6 million.
Underpaid.
Before Moose gets mad at me,
give him the max.
Before Moose gets mad at me, KZ has played so bad that I don't mind Udonis having a roster spot, because I think he's legitimately a more valuable on the court player than
that's true.
KZ OKpala. So I've reversed my position on this. Give him a roster spot. Just maybe think about the other guys. So maybe that's not as fun, but
I really wanted to.
Maybe you're setting up a big debate.
Moose,
Listen,
go ahead with
what
your,
we're seeing from
take.
Max Strus right now in the summer league. That's all from sitting next to UD, okay, for an entire year, just soaking in the culture. He was leading the chant with That's right. Give me the rant music, because this is what it's all about right here. A guy that went undrafted and is here to earn his way in. You were talking about biting legs. Udonis Haslem bites people's heads off when he's going in practice, okay? This is a guy that he earns his money by developing the younger guys, instituting the culture, and showing them how shit gets done in Miami. You want to fuck around in the streets? That's okay. He'll protect you. But then you're going to make sure that you fuck around on the court, okay? Because that's how they do it in Miami. It's all about the culture, and it starts with UD, Mr. 40, Mr. 305, Mr. Heat Culture, and
Mr.
Captain.
41 years old.
41.
Well, you know what? And I hope he plays the 51. I want him to die on that bench in the warm-ups, yelling at people from beyond the grave.
You
Brass, take me out.